Marines are my favorite people to make to make my fans.
We're esprit de corps.
I love you guys. You're great. 100%. You're over the top, but also like you guys are ultra competitive and super defensive of one another, which I love, but it gets fucking annoying to a certain extent.
No,
but like in the comment section, a lot of the times it'll be like somebody's first time ever hearing me talk.
Yeah.
And if it's not about the Marine Corps, they get super fucking pissed.
Yeah, those things are lame.
I feel like infantry in particular and like other combat arms, it's a lot like doing construction work.
Yeah.
All of society discounts you and like, I can do my own fucking drywall. I'll wire my own garage. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you could. You're going to do it wrong.
And content's like a secret. You have a secret that you share with the world.
Yeah, and the secret is nobody knows what the they're doing.
Not a fucking clue. I mean, I developed a technique. I call it, I punch out and I go to work. I'm the one who invented it.
He did. He did. He put it on his shirt, too.
Dude, I put it on a shirt. You can find out more at bunkerbranding.com. Search veteran with a sign. But I can punch out and go to work. This episode is sponsored by Remedical. Hey, veterans. Ever feel like navigating the VA disability claims process is like trying to march in quicksand? I don't know how much you know about quicksand. It's not great to march through. Well, here's some good news. Remedical, that's Romeo Echo Echo Medical, is here to support you as you march right out of that mess. And you can keep moving forward. Whether it's a first-time claim or an increase in your existing status, Remedical connects you with independent providers who can document your symptoms with the precision of a sniper. Only Carlos Hathcock is a better sniper than them. They provide the accurate and thorough medical evidence you need to support your VA claim. With a network of experienced physicians, Remedical has helped over 75,000 veterans. Can you believe that, Blas? 75,000 veterans.
That's a big number.
That's a big number, but we're going to blow right past it. They'll explain all your options before you even think about paying anything. No more mystery, just clarity and competence. At the After Action podcast, we're not just fans of Remedical, we're customers too. Blas, what's it like working with Remedical?
Listen, Zach, I'm not going to lie. When you presented the option of going to Remedical, I was super skeptical, man. I was already done with the VA process. They threw me through the ringer, had me waiting for who knows how long. Anywhere from 6 to 12 months is what I experienced. I know there are veterans out there who have probably experienced a lot longer. When you had mentioned Remedical, like I said, I was skeptical. I gave them a call, though. Like you said, free consultation. I had nothing left to lose. I picked up the phone, gave them a call, told them exactly what I was going through and the troubles that I was experiencing. They said, no problem. Just send us over your medical records. We'll take a look at them. And if we can help you, we'll reach back out. Not even 24 hours later, I got a phone call telling me that my ratings were not sufficient to what the standard actually was, and that if I wanted to move forward, they'd be glad to help me. Almost 12 months later, I finally got my rating back from the VA, where I couldn't be more happy with the results. If you're out there and you're struggling and you're sick of running through the VA process and you're tired of getting a runaround, go to Remedical. I promise you they'll help you and they'll guide you through the process with no pressure and get you the rating you deserve.
I couldn't think of a better personal endorsement than that right there. I got to watch him go through the process myself, and it has been a life-changing outcome for him and his family. Don't settle for frustration or unfavorable decisions. Check out the link in the description for a free consultation and $200 off Remedical services. It's time to get what you deserve. And we're back with the man, myth, legend. It's a part 2 now. We might do a trilogy. It's like Lord of the Rings. He was out here cooking. Communist favorite enemy.
Communists can't cook.
They can't cook, but he sure can. The Fat Electrician, he's joined us. He was just telling us about the scariest Mormons of all time. You've probably seen the video by now. Can I just say something?
I've never seen more men make less men, to be honest with you, actually. The jokes write themselves.
Yeah, they do.
The jokes are going to be great. Have you heard the good news?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what I love about our relationship? I love that I'm your token Marine friend because you give me like Marine lore that I barely know some of it, like, but you run like Marine stories. You'll be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. You're like, have you heard this story? And it's the most obscure Marine story of all time.
Oh, I love it.
But I get the preview.
Marines are my favorite people to make to make my fans. So like, I can't.
We're esprit de corps.
I love you guys. You're great. You're over the top, but also like you guys are ultra competitive and super defensive of one another, which I love, but it gets fucking annoying to a certain extent.
No,
but like
so yeah.
in the comment section, a lot of the times it'll be like somebody's first time ever hearing me talk.
Yeah.
And if it's not about the Marine Corps, they get super fucking pissed.
Yeah, those things are lame.
I've never seen Marines get more upset than when I'm like pumping up the Army Rangers, because the Army Rangers are like comparative to the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? It's they essentially have the same job. You guys are shock troops.
Yes.
And I'll be talking up the Army Rangers and how badass they are. And if a Marine doesn't know that I also talk up the Marines too, they get super pissed and they're like, fucking Marines are better, but they're just want to be Marines. Blah, blah, blah. Like, bro. And I'll comment to them like, hey, I agree. Go watch my Dan Daly video. I talk you guys up to. He's like, okay, you're cool. Okay, all right.
Well,
okay.
The thing about Marines is, so there's a few things Marines are always told right out of boot camp, especially. You're doing a lot of stuff. So every Marine's a rifleman. I'm going to say it here.
Yeah.
Not true. Okay. It's not true. Now, I will say this though. Marines have more annual rifle training.
Higher averages.
Yeah. Your average Marine does more weapons than any other branch. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
However,
if you're running an Army or like an Air Force cook against a Marine cook, Marine all day long. But
that doesn't mean we're the best shots. But what I'm saying is like my job was literally to be an infantry rifleman.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they didn't come up to me and be like, Zach, do you want to fix this helicopter?
Right.
I was like, no, I don't want to fucking do that. I want to walk in a circle. Like,
well, that's always my point, because like some people are like, no, Marines are better. Period. And it's like, okay. Talk to an infantry Marine and ask him if he was stuck in a firefight and he had the chance of like the supply Marines showing up with guns or the Army infantry showing up with guns, who he would rather have. He's picking the Army infantry. I'm sorry. Like,
dude, you know Tyler Vargas Andrews, right?
Yeah.
He came on once and like he does this. It's the best clip we've ever had, I think, until now. You've made like 12 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But
single-handedly holds 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. You're doing it. You're doing the thing.
I'm doing the thing.
Yeah.
Communism.
But I look at Tyler and I go, Tyler, is every Marine a rifleman? He goes, no.
It's only the real riflemen that say that.
No, he goes, rifleman or rifleman. And he just says it so like just smooth. The best part was we collabed and for a fucking month, he's just in there one-handed, just bodying people in the comments, just making fun of people all day long. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, you're not. You're a boot. No, you're not. Like, he's just destroying these kids. It was actually hilarious. You might have dethroned him though. It's not a negative to say that. It's just like everyone said, like people act like I showed up at like a camp, like covered in blood, and I was like, I need 12 brave souls. You know what I would have done? Hey, give me your security rounds. give them to me. Shit's happening. You stay there. I'll be right back. Unless it's me, stay here. Like that's you know. But I wasn't going to show up and do their job. It doesn't take away from it.
Right.
It's just gateway.
But it's just
stolen
like,
valor.
I feel like
it's low level stolen valor.
I feel like infantry in particular and like other combat arms as a whole, there is going to give me a second to elaborate before you roast me alive, but it's a lot like doing construction work.
Yeah.
Because like as a construction worker, all of society discounts you and like, I can do my own fucking drywall. I'll wire my own garage. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you could. You're going to do it wrong. And there's a lot better, more efficient way to do it. And if you hire a professional, you're like, fuck, this dude actually has talent. Oh, there is a way to enter a room and try to shoot somebody that's efficient. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
it's called Tradecraft.
People discount the trade to what's going on because it looks easy or you think it's easy. It's not.
It's not.
Top level infantry dudes, horrifying.
Yeah. I mean, he's infantry as well. I mean, I developed a technique. I call it, I punch out and I go to work. I'm the one who invented it.
He did. He did. He put it on a shirt, too.
Dude, I put it on a shirt. You can find out more at bunkerbranding.com. Search veteran with a sign. But I can punch out and go to work. Check out King Picks Media.
Oh, I was like,
yeah.
I had a...
Remember when I introduced you to? Do you know how nervous he was?
No.
He was terrified.
He's such a nice guy.
I know. He was terrified.
I've talked to him before.
But that was the first time y'all met.
I've been super friendly
I
to
know.
him.
That was the first time we met. And so backstory is I had to push Chris with both hands into SHOT Show last year. He was like, I don't, you know, he's like worried. No one knows who I am. He shows up. People start.
Oh, bro, everybody knows who he is.
Everyone knew who he is. And then you come over there, you go, big fan. And he's like, Zach, thanks, man. But like, you know, it's been really cool to see it because he's doing a lot more stuff.
He's hitting his stride.
He's really doing it, right?
Bro, YouTuber creator space is so cool because I feel like 98 out of 100 of us are just normal fucking people that just happen to like get some type of notoriety on the internet. And everybody thinks we're going to act like famous assholes that are like A-list celebrities. It's never been.
No.
I've met like 2 creators ever out of the thousands that I've met and been like, you're a completely different person off camera and I don't fucking like you. Like 2 out of 5,000.
Would you like to name them right now?
Yeah, so
their names are
actually
B. Comments. What did he say? What do you think he said? What do you think he said?
For sure.
Drop a comment what he thought he said. You're right. So what I like about it, and we've talked about this, all of us actually. You start doing a thing, and content's like a secret, right? You have a secret that you share with the world.
Yeah, and the secret is nobody knows what the they're doing.
Not a fucking clue. But then what I found out very quickly is like I had to find other people that were doing it because I didn't fucking know anything.
And then you're like, oh, nobody knows anything. Holy shit.
And then you're just learning from like trial and error. Like, Rich is like, do this. You're like, do that. Cody's like, do that. Like it's really
That's the thing. Like we just, if you don't know, creators have gigantic group chats with 30 other creators that are big. And we'll be like, hey, I don't know what the fuck to name this video. Here's 5 titles and here's the thumbnails. What are you guys thinking? And we'll all help each other do it and be like, this will work better. So like nobody knows what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
It's all luck.
And it's changed my life in so many different ways. But the people it's brought into it, it's brought Blas, it's brought, Mike, King Pix Media, Bartel, you, everyone from Unsub.
Be honest, been around you for a while.
Huh?
You can get that guy on camera. He's way more talented than you.
I'm trying. Yeah, obviously.
I'm kidding, but not really.
No, he's the most talented person in the room.
I know.
You know what's funny? The first time he set all that up, I like looked at him and I tried to set up and I go, I don't you think I'm trying to get out of this? I'm just fucking terrified to break something. And he's like, that's okay. So he's like slowly taught me stuff like a child. He's like, plug this one in, Zach. And I'm like, and he like pats me on. He's like, good job. Now go sit in front of the mic. And basically, we're putting another camera on him. He doesn't have a choice.
Dance.
He doesn't have another choice.
Well, there is a camera in there, but
you didn't want to. Well, we had to get set up.
I just wanted to get set up.
Wanted to get set up today.
It's not that important. This guy.
He's cooking, right?
What?
He does okay.
What are we doing?
He's a star attraction, man.
Yeah, he was until he got his wing clipped for getting a little lippy.
Hey, look, I tore this pec.
Yeah.
And I was off home at work, couldn't be an electrician for like 4 months. Started making content. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
Now that I've torn this one, only good things can happen. I'm probably going to end up being the press secretary for the Trump cabinet. Honestly, that's like I'm expecting the call any moment. Just historically speaking,
God,
only good luck is going to happen to me every time I get hurt. So I'm optimistic.
People don't know that, prior to all this stuff, because you decided to join the National Guard.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, I'm going to be in the National Guard, citizen soldier checking in.
No, fuck that. I wanted free college.
You wanted free college. Never mind. I was trying to really patriotic.
No, everybody, why'd you join? It was like,
I wanted free college.
Dude,
I want an opportunity.
I was born in 94. Like I was a small child when 9/11 happened. I did not have the call to duty that a lot of the men that came before me did.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know. Society's telling me I need to go to college. It seems like a bad business deal because I've always been kind of good with money. So I was like, which one? I wanted to be Navy forever.
Why?
I just always did. I thought the Navy was the coolest. Even when I do Navy videos, it just seems like the coolest job on the planet to me. And I always want to be Navy, but I had this fucking girlfriend in high school. I didn't want to leave her. So I was like, I'll do National Guard. They pay the most for college. And then now she's my wife and we got kids. So it worked out.
Yeah, it has worked out.
Yeah,
it has worked
great.
out. What did you want to do in the Navy? Do you have any idea?
I wasn't really sure. I'm trying to think back now. I never wanted to be like a Navy SEAL or anything crazy. Oh, I take that back. Yeah, I did. I wanted to be SWIC for a while.
So I know a SWIC guy.
SWIC always seemed cool to me.
It seems awesome.
It was like, well, it's kind of like the Navy SEALs, but you only show up at the beginning and the end and you get a fucking minigun on a canoe.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, that seems pretty fucking dope, actually. I'm like a freedom pirate. That'd be awesome.
Freedom pirate.
Bro, and then and then what was the...
That's all they do. They do inserts and extractions, right?
What was the one Navy... I know they had like 10 Navy SEAL movies that came out all at once in like the span of 2 years, but there was one of them where they brought in actual SWIC
something Valor.
Act of Valor.
And they
Act of Valor, yeah.
Drifting a fucking inflatable raft with miniguns through a river and just light up this SUV. I was like, fuck fuck, I should have been Swick. That looks so cool.
My buddy,
It's like the coolest movie scene ever.
a guy I went to college with did this. It was actually, yeah, look at that. Look at just a bunch of bros.
Swick is so fucking cool.
It's just nobody really understands it. They don't really, or not understand it. It's unknown because it lives in the shadow of Navy
What is
SEALs.
it? Special Forces craft crewman?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, look at that.
Special warfare? Yeah.
They're part of special warfare. I know that. Look
Bro.
at that.
dude.
Just fucking
Down.
all gas.
Yeah. No
Look
brakes.
at this guy right
We're
here.
only gonna-
He's been here before.
The minute shit hits the fan, the boat's going to get faster because I'm shooting 37 pounds of ammunition every 30 seconds. Like, it's insane.
How do you know that?
Huh?
Just the brain, huh?
I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah. You know.
the rounds and that.
Dude, miniguns shoot so much ammunition. It's insane.
I almost got mowed in half by one on a range, actually. What type of gun is on a LAR vehicle? Do you know?
No,
25. I think it's
Not off
25
the top of my head.
millimeter off the top of your head.
probably.
Anyways, we were doing a range and like it's a complex battalion size movement and we're the infantry and they're like moving and we got a little bit ahead of them and then all of a sudden it was at Fort Pickett. They probably renamed it now. But like it was at Fort Pickett and like trees just started falling and my squad leader just grabs me and he's like, don't move. It was in Virginia. It's where we did a lot of training. We would go out there for like a month and sit in the defensive position, do stuff like that. And I had been in the Marine Corps for like a year at that point, maybe even less. And I was like, great, if that could have been the end and no one would have believed me.
I like National Guard, though. National Guard was a good time.
It does seem smarter. I wish I had known more about the military.
Yeah, they don't
prior
tell you
to
that you
doing
get
it.
200% tuition paid in the National Guard as opposed to every other branch.
Is that still?
Yeah.
How and why does that work?
So like everybody doesn't know, not a lot of people, unless you're like in it, even, active duty, nobody really understands the difference between National Guard and Reserve.
Yeah.
So like I'll put it in terms
Go
of
ahead.
Army. So you have Army Reserve, Army National Guard, and active duty Army. Army Reserve is, with the exception of one infantry battalion out of Hawaii, which is like a historical thing because of the Japanese, what the fuck was it? The 442nd Infantry Regiment out of Hawaii was originally all Japanese people that
Really?
fought during World War II. Yeah, they're like one of the most prestigious. They called them the Purple Heart Battalion. Like it was literally all Japanese dudes when they were being heavily discriminated against because
Internment camps,
FDR
yeah,
was
yeah.
putting Japanese citizens in internment camps.
Were there
And-
actual spies? Sorry.
So I looked into this. Actually, it's called
Yeah.
the Ni Hao incident.
Okay.
There was a Japanese plane that crash landed in, I believe it was the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. And the Aleutian Islands had a lot of Japanese Americans that lived there.
Yeah.
And that some of them, not all of them, a few of them tried to hide the Japanese pilot and help him. And because of that, that was FDR's justification
his
to do
red
that.
herring,
And I'm
yeah.
not saying,
Or smoking
I think it's
gun.
one of the most disgusting things an American president has ever done
Facts.
in the history of whatever, but like that was his justification for it. But the 442nd Infantry Division or Regiment. It was almost exclusively Japanese soldiers. There was some Koreans in there too, but they lumped them all together and they basically had to fight for the right to go into combat, to fight for America. They had to petition the government. And then the government sent them into the European theater because they didn't want to send them into the Pacific theater because the Japanese would have done horrific things to them if they got captured.
for sure.
For like betraying their race
Yeah,
or whatever. So they sent him into the European theater, and there was a Texas National Guard unit that got cut off like 30 miles behind enemy lines. And fucking they sent in like 4 other infantry divisions that couldn't pull it off. And they literally just didn't give a fuck about these Japanese guys. A lot of the high-ranking military officials didn't. So they just sent these Japanese guys in, and they fucking wrecked house, went in there, actually saved this Texas National Guard unit. And it's like one of the coolest moments ever because like these National Guard guys thought they were going to die.
Yeah.
Like they were positive. They'd been behind enemy lines for days.
The Texas guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting their shit pushed in. And the Japanese finally, they lost like a third of their men fighting their way through German lines. And like literally first it was a specialist or tech sergeant in World War II, Japanese American, walks through the smoke, smoking a fucking cigarette and walks up to some 18-year-old National Guard kid and is like, want to smoke? Just fucking biggest badass on the planet. So the Army Reserve has that one infantry battalion or regiment out of Hawaii because it's like very historic. Other than that, Army Reserve is exclusively support roles like cooks, firefighters, yada, yada. And the way that works is whenever the active duty Army needs, I need 20 cooks, they just pull from that pool and you join the 82nd Airborne or whatever active duty Army unit it is. But the National Guard is different because it is essentially a state military.
Yes.
Right? So when the National Guard gets deployed, you're not picking 5 dudes that you need 5 medics, here's 5 medics. No, it's like if the National Guard's getting deployed, we have our own infantry units with our own support units. We're our own whole army.
Yeah.
Here's your area of operation, conduct combat operations. So you deploy as a whole unit.
Was the National Guard used in the Global War of Terror in direct combat arms a lot or?
A ton. The National Guard has been used a ton in every war we've had, period. So like I was from the 34th Infantry Division, the Red Bulls. It's the most deployed National Guard unit ever. And it's one of the most deployed units ever.
Yeah.
Like they fought all through World War II. They fought in every war. The 34th Infantry, I'm out of Iowa. These guys were out of southern Minnesota. They were part of what was called the Snickers Tour. So they got stopped lost like twice. And I think they were in combat for 18 months.
Twice?
They were in combat for 18 months. So like I know a guy that was in it from jiu-jitsu and he was infantryman and he was there and he's like, we were there, we did our time and it was coming up and they're like, nope, you're staying for 6 more months. And they're like, fuck. So they stayed for 6 more months. And then they got to the end of it and they were like days away from leaving. Like they were like moved back to the big base.
Yeah.
And they had like sold off all the shit they'd accrued in country, like their TVs, anything they had accrued. They'd like sold it to the guys that are coming in. They got rid of all their shit. And then they got orders like, nope, you're staying again for another 6 months. So yeah, I mean,
it's not something I know, but with the Marine Corps especially, they changed a lot of stuff they were doing after 323, the reserve unit, because I think it's Kilo or I can't remember. It was based out of Ohio, but they lost like 30 dudes, which was unheard.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah, crazy. They lost more than any other reserve unit. So the Marine Corps changed everything they were doing after that. So, and the Marine Corps is not part of there is no National Guard Marine Corps.
Yeah, it's just reserve. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like why
Kilo 323, I think, is what it is. Kilo 320. There's a documentary about it. 323 Marine Corps, yeah. Part of 3rd Battalion. No.
But yeah, like with the National Guard, that's why you get 200% tuition because you get 100% from state and 100% from federal.
Yeah. Like I saw this in this documentary. I saw, this is the one they had rushed to get these guys out there, and it's like very evident, like, they're just doing like basic movements, and like, they thought a road was clear, they put a vehicle on it, and they lose a rifle squad, like gone. It was, but
Is this Iraq or Afghanistan?
It was Iraq in like 06, 07. It's like Kilo 323 documentary or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Gotcha.
But veterans docu. It was gnarly too. It was like one of the last things I watched before I left, because like what made me enlist was obviously 9/11. But dude, getting on Live Leak.
So wait, you legitimately joined because of 9/11?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Like I wanted to serve. I remember like
you were what, 8th grade?
Eighth grade. Yeah. Because I graduated 06.
So you had to wait 4 years essentially to even go.
My cousin.
See, for me, it wasn't either. It wasn't 9/11. It was after my brother got injured while serving that I was like, fuck, I need to go out there.
Yeah.
That's what got me.
It's crazy, like when I think about it too. Like I remember, because I remember like these are freedom fries and like shit like that, like, and it was really like, I looked at the Marines of Lima Company. That's got to be it. That's it. The Combat Diary, the IMDb. Yeah. No, it's Lima. Yeah, I was wrong. 323 Lima. 325 Lima. I was way off. But like I remember like wanting to serve. My uncle had served in the first Gulf War, which is why it's probably why I like chocolate chip camis the most. Like that was like the first camouflage pattern I saw. But my cousin joined like 4 years to the day before me, and like, you know, it didn't hurt that I saw the way his life changed afterwards. Like he went from like being just a dude to like with no real plan in life to like having opportunities and like, you know, a future. Like, you know, he was like a scrawny, he's taller than me, but like he was like a scrawny guy, barely like 150 pounds or whatever. And he comes out of boot camp, he's jacked. He looked like a man, you know? And I was like, is this how we do it? And I think every guy especially looks for an adventure. And that was part of it. But then when I saw the stuff they were doing on like Live Leak and all those videos where they're like, click, click, boom, I'm coming down. There's like launching 203s off of rooftops.
Dude,
I loved it. Then I'm launching 203s in Afghanistan. It was awesome.
My favorite,
40 Mike.
My favorite fucking video on the internet is a bunch of infantry dudes. There's a massive fucking propane tank, like a 30-foot long propane tank.
I'm in.
And they're standing like 200 yards from it. And the propane tank is like broadside with the road running parallel. And the fucking just some big old fat dude with a grenade launcher shoots this fucking propane tank, and you see the impact, and there's like a solid 1 count, and the fucking welds of the side blow out, and it shoots the end caps of this propane tank out of the camera frame. It's so fucking funny.
You probably can't even find it now. Have you ever seen the video of the guy who blows up the IED with the AT4 and it sets off daisy chains? Have you ever seen that one?
I don't know.
Army IED AT, probably like IED AT4. Yep. Army convoy blown up. No, that's not it. He just like gets out and they're like, don't do this. And he just drops an AT4 in it because they didn't want to wait on EOD, which I've never identified with a statement more in my entire life. I mean, I legit wanted to pull bombs out of the ground over waiting on EOD. It took forever. And then I actually got to like watch a Marine Corps EOD guy do it. I've never felt more alive in my entire life.
Fucking
watching him dig in the ground and just with a fucking knife.
So I have a buddy that was EOD back in like 2003 in Iraq.
Yeah.
Like when that was new. Like they wrote the book on how their standard operating procedure book is written in fucking blood, and he was there for it. And he was talking about one of the pranks they always had for new guys was they had like a rite of passage where you'd eat some C4. And then after the new guy would eat the C4, they'd all whip out tasers and chase him because like, you're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna explode.
They're gnarly, dude. I remember because first time I saw him disarm a bomb, the guy like come out. So the way they do it, they have a lead guy and a team. They have a team leader and an assistant team leader. One looks for one part, the other sweeps and looks for the other parts, right? So there's 3 parts to an IED. There's a trigger, a power source, and a charge, right? And if you find one, you can find the others. But they just literally sweep it. And the Marine ones especially, this dude was just in a K-bar and he's just like cutting stuff up. He like literally rolled out of the back of a truck and was like, is there a bomb out there? And like he just walked over there and just started stabbing the ground. We're all just like terrified. And he like, oh, there we go. Pulls up a trigger, like literally just throws it down a canal. And he's like, it's fine. It won't blow up. I don't think. And he's like, I'm just kidding. And he just like literally just disarming it. He's like, you want me to blow it here or you want to like blow it somewhere else?
You want to hear something crazy? So I was asking my buddy from like 2003. I was like, how horrible is the movie The Hurt Locker?
Oh.
It's like the most like, bro, you want to know what he said that shocked the fuck out of me? He's like, it's horrifying. He's like, it was so realistic. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, no, dude. He's like, I know what you're going to say. Like, it seems ridiculous. He's like, in 2002, 2003, that's what it was like. He's like, I could do whatever the fuck I wanted because that he's like, EOD was completely voluntary. He's like, if you decided you didn't want, he's like, we had such a high attrition rate of people getting killed and people just quitting. Yeah. He's like, I could literally do whatever the fuck I wanted. And he goes, it was just like that. I'm like, that's wild to hear from somebody that was actually, because it's like probably the most unrealistic military operating procedure
when he curls
movie ever.
Like all those rounds, he like pulls up like 5 105 shells everywhere. I was just like,
yeah. So I don't know. That was crazy to hear.
I mean, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. The one thing I learned that sticks in my head the most is I was like, why don't you guys wear the bomb suit? And the same guy was like, "You want to die uncomfortable?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "It only works for like 5 pounds of explosives. Every bomb out here is at least 50." He's like, "I'm not going to die uncomfortable." And I was like, "Okay."
The bomb suit's just so they might have something to look pretty at my funeral is what I was told. And I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, and I think it's 300 pounds. There's a lot of tiers too. The Air Force guys were universally like the nerds, is what I was told, because they were always the first ones to use. They had the most money, so they're using like robots and stuff. And the Army and the Marine Corps EOD guys were like, "Dude, we're here to fuck shit up."
Then you got the Filipino guys sweeping Japanese minefields with a shovel to this day. Have you seen those guys?
No. What do you mean?
Look up Filipino EOD minesweeper. Bro, they'll walk through a minefield. I'm not shitting you. Like they're detasseling corn, ripping landmines out of the ground from World War II.
Okay, EOD Filipino what? Minesweeper?
Philippine mine.
Philippine?
Yeah.
Minesweeper?
Mine. Yeah. Videos.
Marines. Hell yeah, brother.
I mean, it's just footage of this dude, he doesn't even stop walking. He's just got a shovel. He's just ripping landmines out of the fucking ground and disengaging them and throwing them to the side. It's fucking crazy.
Really gatekeeping a lot of this stuff's getting on my nerves.
Yeah, they're not fucking.
It's not populating.
Damn it.
It's all DVids.
Nah, never mind. Have you met Ethan, habitual line crosser?
Yeah.
He's got the funniest fucking EOD story ever.
What'd he do? I always forget.
He's a missile nerd.
That's it. Yeah. That's air defense.
Yeah, he does Patriot missile.
Yeah. This is reminding me also too of when they were building up Kandahar Airfield and the other bases. They were paying the locals to clear out the areas before we built stuff on it and dump gravel. And so it was a bunch of locals that they would just like literally dig stuff out because we were worried. We were worried that they had a bunch of, bombs and everything. I'm convinced the locals were just scamming us out of a job because that seems like the most likely course of action.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
They're like, "Yeah, dude, there's so many bombs there. It'll take us like 30 days. And they're like, "Okay." We didn't look into it.
Good. Anyways.
Man, this episode is sponsored by the USCCA. Who is the USCCA? Well, they are the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. With more than 800,000 members, the USCCA is an organization dedicated to helping responsibly armed Americans avoid danger, save lives, and keep their families safe. When you become a USCCA member, you'll unlock life-saving education and industry-leading training. Some of the things you will learn include safely and quickly accessing your firearm and shooting accurately under pressure, preparing your family with a realistic home defense plan, de-escalate potentially violent interactions, navigate your home state's complex gun laws, and be prepared to legally travel with your gun, and much, much more. Here's some of the things that are included in a USCCA membership. Concealed Carry Magazine, 8 issues per year. No way. You also get a digital companion subscription and tiered online access to past issues. It just never stops. Access to the Protector Academy, an online education course, digital education and training. The list goes on and on and on, which is why you should join USCCA today. Here's the bottom line. The USCCA is helping responsible gun owners avoid danger, save lives, and protect their loved ones. To find out more and to sign up today, go to uscca.com/veteranwithasign. Now, let's get back to the show.
We'll find that video later.
You're just a plethora of information the same way you are content, but you're in the National Guard. You're like, I'm going to be an electrician. You start down this path of electrician. You've got a lovely bride by this point, right?
No, didn't marry her yet.
You didn't marry her yet?
No, not yet. We're still dating.
You were still dating?
Uh-huh.
When did you start getting that itch for the internet? That itch you had to scratch? Let's make content. When you're like, I'm the fat electrician.
I didn't. So if you look at my videos on my safe, there's ultrasound pictures.
Yeah.
So those ultrasound pictures have been on that safe since way before I started making content. But it was like I was an electrician's apprentice. My wife was pregnant. COVID was going on. I was stuck at home. I couldn't do anything else. I'd go to work, come home, do that. Pregnant wife. Wife was at home all day. So I basically locked myself in our spare bedroom. I think I started 3 different businesses, and like all of them, they weren't not successful, but they weren't going to make enough money with what I was happy with. But they all involved social media, and that was the part that I was best at. So then when I got hurt, it was like, oh, I'll just start making TikTok videos, and they took off.
What were the 3 different businesses?
So they were mostly about kydex, like gun holster and knife holsters. So like I did custom knife holsters for a while, or knife sheaths for a while. And then I got into making knives a little bit, different stuff like that. But it was just like this isn't scalable to make the amount of money I want to make and do what I want to do. So then didn't keep doing that. And then
and you just picked up all the stuff you'd learned of like how to run a business. You're just winging
basically,
it.
yeah. I mean, because businesses like that, it's all marketing through Instagram.
Yep.
So like I just learned a lot about social media from doing that, and then started making TikToks, dicking around after I tore my pec, and then took off.
And that was your first video, which was the Aldi video, right? That was your first like
12.6 million views in like 4 days.
On TikTok.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. What was it like? How long was it when you uploaded it and then you like came back? You're like, oh, whoa.
It was like 100,000 views in like an hour. And then like people started ripping the video, and then it was showing up in like it was like people were uploading it to Facebook, and then it was like in all these Aldi, like Aldi's has all these Facebook pages where they talk about like deals and all the shit that Aldi's currently has, and it was getting shared in all those. And then it was, so yeah, I got like 1 million followers on TikTok in not a very long amount of time.
Do you have any idea how long it took?
Maybe a couple weeks.
From the time you started the account?
Yeah. It was insane.
That's crazy.
It was insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Like Bella Porsche didn't move numbers like that. That's wild.
I got super lucky. It was crazy.
What was it like? So you like came in and you're like, Hannah, I think I'm onto something. Like,
so like it was just like,
I don't know anyone who's had a jump like that. Do you know anyone who's had a jump like that? Like that's a jump.
It was like I got struck by lightning, but like all that other experience I had from social media from those businesses, it was like, oh shit, I know how to monetize this. So it was like, I didn't just get struck by lightning. I managed to catch it in a fucking jar.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh fuck. And then all it turned into is like, I was hurt. I was off work. I think I was getting like $300 a week from like disability from my insurance or whatever. So like I was broke, and then it was like, all right, fastest way I can do this, I'm going to have a little donation fund. I opened up a PayPal and a Cash App and shit.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to get, because like the deck I had on the house I was living in was like literally falling off. Yeah. And I had them replacing it. And it was one of those things where it was like, I had called this company to come do it, and it took them like a year to get on whatever. And they called at like the worst time in my life when my pec was fucked up and I was off work, but I couldn't tell them no. So I was like, oh, I could probably get that covered at least. And then it went to like, oh shit, this isn't stopping. And then I pushed everybody to YouTube right away. And then
that's the smartest thing that you could have done.
I still worked for 2 years after that too.
I know we met, you were still working.
Yeah.
When we first met, you were still working. I can't remember where we first met. Was it Range Day?
Probably.
It was probably
first Range Day.
It's probably the first one.
Back at the
one it rained.
The OG.
Yeah.
That almost sucked.
Yeah, that did suck. But we met, and that's all I really cared about. It rained the whole fucking time.
It was cold as fuck.
It was literally bad. Like
it was not a good time.
But everyone actually loves it quite fondly when you look back on it, because we hadn't really
because it's so huge now. Range Day is so huge now compared to what it was at the first one.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, like we're all talking about it.
Right.
Like it's sponsored.
Yeah.
Like it's
like a thing now.
It's a fair.
Like I was at the first one. It sucked.
Yeah. Well, because in that we had planned it for so long, and like all these different things, you know, Brandon's got his boys out there as gun nerds, and like with their slew of weapons, Matt brings out a bunch of stuff, and like way more people showed up than we thought, and it's pouring rain the whole time. This one's going to be fun.
It was good.
It's going to be a fun one. It's a perfect way to end the year.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows when it is, but not the exact date, but that's enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we met, and you were still working.
Full-time electrician.
Yeah. You had to take off time to come down there. And that's when you were like, I think I'm going to find a few businesses here, huh? Is that when it was?
I mean, not really. I mean, the unsub thing just kind of took off.
Did it? Is it working out for you guys?
Yeah.
Unsubscribe, the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of it. It's quite big.
I mean,
it's scary. It's scary how big it is. People yell things at me now because of it in public. They'll come to me like, fucking donkey story, bro. Like,
bro, you're telling me. They're like, yeah, we're going to do live shows, 2,000 seat auditoriums. And I was like, we're going to sell 2,000 tickets for somebody to come listen to me get drunk with my friends. That 2 days later, like, yeah, it's sold out. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's working out.
What the fuck?
It's working out quite well. I mean,
it's insane.
I mean, you're doing 2 here. I was advocating for y'all to get the Ryman, but y'all do it next time for sure.
I think it was just too short notice for that venue.
Yeah, well, Nashville's got the problem of it being a cool place, so like you have to like plan really far in advance. There's something happening every single moment.
Yeah.
Of like right now, there's
zero white space.
There's at least 4 concerts happening right now as we speak. But no, it's been really interesting too because I've looked at your content a lot, and I have a theory of what I think works about it. Is that you have this? You're not just telling stories, but like the way you tell the stories.
It's the delivery. It's
the delivery, but there's a method of writing that's called show, don't tell. You show, you don't tell. You understand? You understand? It's like if I were to describe this room, I'd be like, we're sitting here, be like, no, we're in a room that's dark. The tablecloth is black. Like I build a world, but I haven't met a lot of people who, especially in like, we're talking like shorts initially, probably on TikTok or what, like 90 seconds to 3 minutes maybe. Yeah. And you're pulling in on the one place where they don't stay long. You're crushing it. And then you somehow talked these people to jump platform, which also never happens. A competitor platform. You're like, come with me here. And they have followed you in waves, just droves of people.
So, I mean, a big part of it's luck. Big part of it's catching lightning in a bottle. With the storytelling aspect, I call it zooming out.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So like the problem that a lot of history people have, and a lot of the problem that like history people have with me. So like hardcore history people, either, you know, like the bell curve memes where it's like the bell curve memes are like people that aren't very into history.
Yeah.
Love me.
Yeah.
People that are kind of into history, that peak of the bell curve, hate me. People that are super into history, love me. And the reason to that is like all of history and the reason it's boring is because it's always starting zoomed out and then you zoom in.
Yeah.
I start zoomed in and then I zoom out.
Yeah.
Right. So I teach everything backwards because it's really boring if I want to tell you about Bud Lamel and the Rangers at Point du Hoc rolling up with fucking British ships shooting grappling hooks out of rocket launchers to climb a 100-foot cliff face under enemy gunfire. It's really boring to get to the exciting part if I have to start and give you the broader context of like, okay, well, you know, the Japanese attacked and then we invaded North Africa, and then the reason they did that is they wanted a 2-man front because the British blah 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 and all this extra context and all this bullshit, and then everybody's asleep by the time you get to anything cool. Whereas it's like if you start off with like the perspective from a singular person that lived through it, it's a lot more exciting because it's more relatable.
Where did you come to?
You've essentially adapted. Well, not adapted, but you're essentially ahead of social media, right? Because social media, because it's so short form, those first 5 seconds have to grab you. Yeah. You've essentially done that with storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard. You just have to deliver.
Yeah.
You just have to deliver.
But there's things you do that like it feel, me and Rich were talking about this. It's like dad's getting ready to talk to you. Like the lights are off. You turn on the light. There's a little click. Today we're talking about like, I know what you're doing. You're setting the mood. Maybe you'll set the mood for me later tonight.
It happened multiple times here. Yeah. Just like going over Social Security.
Yeah.
Like no shit set the stage.
Yeah. I think we canceled Social Security.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, when you say it like that, no, it's just like you get drawn in. And like I'm always just like this whenever you start talking. I'm just like, I'm so fucking dumb. Like, how is he this smart? But like, it doesn't feel like history. I feel in general is so gatekept as like a genre because I feel like people are worried that there's only a certain amount of stories. That's like absurd. I know we've talked about this. I'm always like, when are you going to run out of World War II stories? You're like, I'm not even close. I'm like, you're not even close.
156,000 men stormed the beach at Normandy. All of them have a fucking story, and that's one battle. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm never going to run out of stories. It's not going to happen.
That fires me up.
I know, right?
I'll have enough money to retire before I run out of stories, and I probably won't stop then just because I like it. I might slow down, but.
Well, but you've slowed down and shifted though. With the fat files is what I mean. Not slowed down with everything, but the fat files I think is an incredible arc.
Yeah. The fat files is nuts, dude.
It's nuts.
Bro.
It's his B channel.
My B channel. Because I started it, I didn't push it with any of my other social medias. I just wanted to know, because I wanted to, and it was part of me quitting my job and doing this full time.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, like, okay, how much of this is, there's a huge component of luck no matter what, but it was like, how much of this is going to have to be luck again if I wake up and my channel gets hacked and it's gone or something, like, am I going to be able to redo this? Or is it like I need to hopefully get struck by lightning to catch it again?
Yeah.
So I wanted to know if I could redo it. So I started a different channel, different genre, and I didn't push it with any of my other social medias. I just want to see if I can get it to take off. And bro, I got that channel monetized in 17 hours.
I know. It's crazy.
And to get a channel
explain to everyone what
to
that
get
is.
a channel monetized on YouTube, you have to have, there's like 3 different criteria.
Yeah.
I think you have to meet 2 of them.
Yeah.
But the one that always hangs people up is you have to get, I think it's 17,000 hours of watch time.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got that in 17 hours.
Yeah. Unpromoted.
It was crazy.
Unmarketed. Yeah. And what was that video?
It was about Joe Biden and bears.
Did you have any thought of like that was the video to pick, or you're just like, fuck it?
No, it was just like something that I just got fired up about because it made no fucking sense whatsoever. I was like, this seems dumb. Like, I'm just gonna roast this idea.
I like the fat files. Not that I don't like Maine. Your Maine. I love it. But the fat files I like, I never know what I'm gonna get. You know what I mean? Like,
it's variety channel.
It's variety, but like the, Spirit Halloween stuff. Love it, right?
Yeah.
But
you're
then,
a business nerd.
Yeah, I am. I am.
Same.
Yeah, but I like to hide it. But I like that. Like, I like that you understand like that stuff. But then I also like the Arizona tea stuff. Same thing, right? But I think my favorite one is the beaver one on Fat Files, or that's Maine?
That's on Main channel.
That's on Maine. But like, it has the potential to do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And as a creator, I know that it's very limiting sometimes when you like find a spot and you're like, this is like doing this was fucking terrifying for me because Veteran with the Signs, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've got that. I understand who that guy is. This
strike a pose.
Yeah. This scares me because this is completely different. There's moving parts. There's people involved who are trusting me. You're coming here. Like, it's, but 13 fucking hours? Come on, dude, say some internet for the rest of us. Like
17.
17, excuse me, 17.
The fascinating part for me is like the fact that you had a successful channel. You were successful. It was successful in its own right. And you didn't have an ego. And you were just like, you know what? I just want to see and confirm that what I'm doing is actually working. And because you could have easily, because we're fragile.
Yeah.
Men are fragile.
Yeah.
Could have been like, I have a fucking successful channel. I'm good. But you were challenging yourself and you wanted to see like, hey.
It wasn't.
The only other person
It wasn't about
that.
challenging myself. It's because I constantly doubt myself. So like, so there's this, like one of my favorite sayings is when a bird lands on a branch, does the bird have faith in the branch or does it have faith in its wings? So I just needed to know, like, if I'm going to bet my family's well-being and my income on this, like, is this like I'm just trusting the branch or am I trusting my ability to succeed no matter what?
Yeah.
And so like that was a big part of like why I just wanted to prove to myself that like it's not just that I got lucky. Like I have some amount of skill at this too. It was a big part of it for me.
Yeah. Well, you've gone about it in a very specific way.
Yeah.
My perceptions of a lot of your self-education comes from wanting to create stability, right?
Yeah.
In a chaotic environment. I mean,
Yeah.
Same. We're all that. Like,
Yeah.
I always say, aside from wanting to serve my country, I want to join the military because there was no hero coming for me, so I had to be my own hero.
Right.
Like and I mean that in the sense of like a husband, a father, a provider. Like,
right.
That stuff was not there. I didn't like it. I shaped way too much of my personality off of movies. I'm trying to wind that back now. But like, I literally was just like, I've got to figure this out. And like, I identify with that so much, being like, okay, is this just one? Because it does get, that's the thing nobody talks about too with creator stuff is like, it's a light shining on you and then you're like, wait, is the light dimming? Like, what if I run out of idea? What? Oh no. What if the platform changes to 1 minute shorts to 3 minute shorts and I'm lost?
Right.
What do they call old channels on YouTube?
Legacy?
Yeah, legacy channels. Yeah. People who have a ton of followers, but their views are
nothing.
You
got 5 million subs, they get 10,000 views. Yeah.
But it took them years to get that. Right. But the platform, something happened.
Right.
It's every 6 months, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Something happens and they just didn't adapt. Maybe they ignored it and they're like, it'll come back around.
Well, the scariest part about this shit too is it's like I'm not bitching at all. Like I'm super lucky to be here.
No,
but
I want you to talk about it.
The scariest part with like doing creator shit is nobody knows what they're doing. So there's nobody that you can call for help that knows what the they're doing. You know what I mean? Like most, not all, but most other careers, like if I'm an electrician out in the field and I run into some weird shit I've never seen, I have a boss that's been doing this for 20 years longer than me that's probably seen some that can give me some guidance, where with this shit, it's like, what the is going on? And everybody's just like, I don't know what the is going on either, dude. It's just a bunch of people like figuring it the out.
All we have is each other.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always so grateful for the community. I mean, especially, you know, with the stuff that happened with the VFW, I don't want to harp on that. They suck, but I will harp on the fact that you came running, Rich came running, all of Unsub, and you know your wife made the best meme ever. It's what is it?
Helm's Deep.
Helm's Deep 2 Towers. His lovely wife Hannah makes his meme. It's like it's like Brandon at the bottom and Zach better with the sign. And then it shows the horde as the VFW, and then it's like Unsub coming down as I'll have to find it so we can put it in the thing. But like, because it was like my only fear was that like people won't see through this and I'm fucked.
Just the balls of some ancient organization ponying and being like, you know what? I'm going to talk shit about somebody on the internet. And it's like, no, I know a lot more people that are a lot better at talking shit on the internet than you.
It was doing some damage to you, man.
Yeah, because like I was stressed. You know, I had this going. You know,
really? Why? The dude that's built his entire career off of advocating and helping veterans being attacked by the most well-known veterans organization on the planet.
I think you're more hurt
that
than
hurt your feelings. Like, gee,
it did hurt my feelings that like I was called into question because like again it goes back to this. The VFW came to our ad agency and we talked about it. Me, him, and Rich. We talked about it. They said this
and me. They offered it to me too.
The three of us. Like it was like I don't want to say the other person who was doing a camp. Let's leave him out of it, right? But like they were like, "Do you guys want to do this?" We all talked about it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know anybody they've helped. This feels like it's limiting options. We need more options, not less. That is literally where it started.
Competition's good.
Competition is good.
Period.
The system. I'm not talking about the system. Personally, I hate there has to exist veterans organizations and other organizations, and I've told people this, Remedical agrees too, they don't want to exist, but this is the reality we live in. And then that was what pushed them to be like, this sucks, this guy sucks. And so I was just like, dude, I've literally been like out here on the front lines trying to make, you know, guys, you know, because it's hard. Like I had suits and pocket squares. For those of you that don't know, I get hundreds of emails a day. And like I skim most of them, and there's a good chunk of the time that people are asking me questions about benefits and like issues they're having with VA and all that shit. And like I'm like if you want to know some shit about World War II or Korea or like hit me up. If you want help with like benefits, ask him. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been like, hey, I'm gonna forward you over to Veteran with a Sign. He knows way more about this than I do, and he helps him out. Yeah, like. It's no, insane. I mean, I've been doing it since 2011.
Right.
Mark Green, who is my congressman, when he was a state official, Army veteran, doing all this stuff, like we worked together at Legislative Plaza up the road to push state money towards helping. Like I've done this for a minute, and so like it was really just like, dude, what the fuck? Like my first initial reaction was whatever, and then the next thing was like, get fucked, boomers, and then the third part was like, well, I hope my reputation holds up. Like that was it. I was like, you know, because Christy was like, what are we gonna do? Like, and I'm like, we're just gonna hold. The first thing I'm not gonna do is put a statement out. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold. And I called you. I called Cody. I called Rich. And I called Blas. I was like, what do I do? We're holding. And then just a sea a literal sea of autistic unsubs. Just a bunch of bros showed up and just started dogpiling on them. And then they doubled down. And then they're like, we'll talk, Zach. Then they never called me. They called everyone else. They called everyone around me. They called, they called a bunch of people who were like, hey, talk to this person, blah, blah, blah. Literally, instead of being like, hey, we're sorry. To this day, I sent you that screenshot. Yeah. To this day, the VFW members are like, they're like, oh, the veteran with the sign guy, your generation is so weak. A guy went to a veterans event a guy went to a veterans event at his kid's school. The VFW was there. And he went up to him. Looking for members, and they go, hey, would you like to join? He goes, I don't know. Are you still doing like crazy stuff? And he goes, oh, you mean that sign guy? Your generation's so weak, and turned around and left. No wonder they can't get members.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was wild. So thank you. Let it be on the record. Thank you for standing on. I remember like Rich was like, I'm doing a video. And I was like, don't, I don't know, man. Don't do the video. He's like, no, I'm doing it. He's like, Nick's going to be in the video too. And I was like, holy shit, this is happening. Like a lot's happening. And then it came out and it's just when people have options. That's it. I don't care what they use. I just want them to use something. He used it. Yeah. How was it?
It was great. Got the percentage I was looking for.
Yeah. And he understood how it works. It's not that complicated.
I'm not making payments to him.
Like, and that was the other thing that I was actually kind of bothered by the lack of research. People were like, oh, you're paying them back pay. Well, are you paying them back pay? No. Well, what is it? Oh, it's a payment plan?
No.
That's not back pay. Are they taking back pay? No, they're not. They said they weren't taking back pay. Hey, man, I need you to run through like general knowledge of like this stuff, but it was weird. I don't know.
It's a good time.
It's a good time. It's a great time. Yeah. It brought us together in a big way.
It did.
It did. As we're continuing to be brought together in an even bigger way. That a boy. What do you, as you continue to grow and take over the creator space as the robber baron of internet content creation? I'm not going to name how many businesses. I'm not going to name how many businesses you own. Blas, go ahead and close up on this one for this. A lot. If there's $1 made on the internet, Nick gets 75 cents of it.
That's not true.
No, I mean, I'm,
He's got enough businesses to keep his family secure. That's the number.
Well, yeah, I get it. I understand it. But the only person who has as many things going as you, I think, is Nico.
Demo Matt.
Yeah, Demo. Okay, so there's 3 of you.
Yeah.
You're the triad of content creator stardom.
No, so I mean, I don't know. I don't buy a bunch of flashy shit. Like I drive a Toyota 4Runner. Like I don't really care. My whole thing is just like, I've been doing this for 2 years now, full time. Mm-hmm. And like, I've become so confrontational and my ability to say no that I don't think I can ever work for anybody else again. So I've always just been trying to figure out like, all right, well, how can I never have to work for anybody else again? So it was like, okay, well, I proved to myself I'm pretty good at making content and like understanding how social media works. So then I just invested in like, I own part of Bunker Branding. I own part of Pepperbox. Like I own other businesses that are going to help other creators make money. And then I'm going to get some of that money too. So it's like the analogy I use is I went west during the gold rush. I found my pile of gold and then I invested in a company that's making shovels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I'm going to sell shovels to everybody else that's trying to dig for gold. So that's kind of my strategy.
Do you want to know what analogy I use when I describe you?
Go ahead.
I drink your milkshake. I have my straw from all the way over here, and I drink your milkshake. Your land's dry, barren, gone, nothing's there. I'm just kidding. No, I love it. I'm at Bunker because of you.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's something I really appreciate because most people, like, it's really hard for creators, especially when you start merchandising and stuff.
Dude.
And let me hang on 1 second. I had like 4 or 5 people who came to me and all they did was they took the majority of the profit. They took all my email lists and they literally, I had nothing to show for it. Like nothing.
I'm not going to say all, but like same situation. Most merch companies are just looking to hang creators out to dry and use their likeness to sell their own t-shirts.
It's
and
fucking bullshit.
Bunker pays the creators, the majority of the profits. And it's just such a better company, but it was created by Demo Matt for that purpose. Like, he's like, this is all bullshit. I'm going to start my own company. And he did it. And then I was one of their top sellers and I got the opportunity to buy in, and I was absolutely so.
Yeah. You and a little guy named Roman Atwood, also a guy's been in the creator game for a while, Demo. And like, it's refreshing to be able to trust people. And like, I can call you or anybody, Clint, any time of the day. And like, I have my questions answered.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, I remember one guy, and I don't want to say too much about it. He's not around anymore. It's just like, he wanted all this money up front. He was promising me this, promising me that. And then like, none of it worked out.
Yeah.
And I got like maybe $1,000, which is not nothing, but that is not the amount of money or sales that I did after giving him money up front.
Right. Yeah.
And like, we were pre-ordering because of COVID, and I was just like, dude, what do we like? I'm giving you money and we're pre-ordering. Like, what do you bring? But you keep all this stuff. That's not working.
Versus
for me.
Bunker, we don't want anything up front. Like,
no,
like you get the t-shirts, we'll make them, we'll ship them.
Yeah,
yeah. No, it's great.
It's just good. It's good, especially like we talk about. No one knows, but like those are things that are hard to navigate on the front end, because you see an ad for like Teespring, you're like, I can do that, or like whatever.
Well, the other part, there's so many creators that like go to somewhere like Teespring, and it's like, it's embarrassing. Like, a lot of the creators that we bring onto Bunker are like, don't even want to sell merch just because they've had a negative experience with this other company where it's like, I have a fan that paid $40 for my t-shirt, and the t-shirt showed up and it was fucking a $2 shitty t-shirt, and the logos came off after I washed it one time and it shrunk to a toddler size and all this crazy shit. And it's like, no, Bunker's like good shirts, printed, all made in Texas.
Hats, made in Texas. It's all taken care of. Like, it's actually employing people in this, in this country.
Something cool that happened to me the other day. So like these hats, like we make them at Bunker, like not the hat, like we buy the blanks and then we get the leather patches, but the leather patches, a lot of other companies, it's not actually stitched on. It looks like it's stitched on. The patch has stitching, but it's just glued on.
Yeah.
So you can grab it and peel it off. And I was like, we're not doing that. Stitch it on. So like at Bunker, they stitch on the leather logos and they're stitched on through the hat. And I had somebody that did the Appalachia Trail, or what is that what that's called?
Appalachian Trail?
Appalachian Trail, where it's like 3,000 miles or whatever. He's like, and he had an unhealthcare hat of mine. And he's like, it was this and my jacket that was like a Carhartt jacket are the only two pieces of clothing that survived the entire time. And he said the hat was beat to fuck, but the logo was still attached and everything on there. I was like, good.
Yeah.
Good.
This awesome. Pleases me.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, but you're continuing to grow though. Unsub, Pepperbox, Bunker. What's on the horizon? What are things that, obviously you're always growing.
Yeah.
I mean, what are things that what are some goals you have?
So I think for this next year, I got another couple not creators, but like, I guess they're creators. They're like TikTok people that are worried that TikTok's going to go away, and they make all their money on TikTok Shop. One lady has a pretty big TikTok. She makes soaps. So she makes soap. I'm going to be working with her, hopefully start selling soap, potentially beard oil that's all made in America.
Good.
Potentially branch that out into other Bunker creators. And then I'm going to start a candy line. It's going to be freeze-dried candy, Quack Bang Candy Company. Quack, your kids are going to love Quack. That's my catch line. My flagship candy is freeze-dried Skittles, Quack Rocks. It's going to be great. And then the other big
consumables.
The other big one I think is I think the only part of like the creator sphere that I haven't tapped into yet is an ad agency to be able to like represent and negotiate for the ads in videos. So I want to open up my own ad agency, potentially with, some of the other guys at Unsub and Pepperbox, and probably just take on doing our own ads at first and then branch out to other people as we can grow that company as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's hard too, because with that stuff, especially the ad agency, people don't know their value.
Yeah.
And these companies, they're showing it's a game.
There's so many.
It's a game.
And that's the part that pisses me off, because it's like, I know, like I have a really good ad agency right now, and it's
they're great.
Yeah, they're great. But it's like, I talk to other creators that are bigger than me or the same size, and it's like, I'm getting paid X amount of money. And it's like, that's like half or a third of what you should be getting paid for that ad from that company. That's what I'd be getting paid, double or 2/3 more than what you're like, your ad agency's fucking you.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, they told me blah, 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 blah. And I was like, they're either lying or they're just not good at their job.
Well, and especially because they'll find creators, because it's one of the things I think leads to burnout, is they pitch them. And I remember the first deal I got, I'm like, you're going to pay me to do this thing? Like it blows your mind. And then you're like, you get to a place where you're like, okay, I think this is scale. You look at, and then you look around, you're like, I guess I charge this much. Like, I guess you like, there's no one who does it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one who really fights for the creator. Right. And that's what I like about the agency we have. They fight for me all the time.
So the way, like, it's like you always hear about people in like the music industry and movies and stuff getting fucked over by their agent.
Oh, brother.
They're trying to do the same thing with creators. The problem is that content creation's moving so fucking fast that they can't catch up and get the infrastructure behind them to start fucking everybody right out of the gate.
Yep.
So you have a bunch of big creators, dudes that came before me, like Demo Matt again, that have like pioneered their own trail, and he's so far down his own trail that he's like, you're never going to catch, like nobody's ever going to offer him more money than he can make for himself. Same thing with like Mr. Beast. Like, and he said the same thing. He's like, I don't even do ads. I just represent my own companies because I'm going to make more money doing his own thing. So it's like, and I want to be involved in companies that are helping creators make more money and like make it a viable option instead of trying to, I'm going to fuck over 500 content creators, wring them out to dry, and then run them like a sweatshop. And then I'll get to drive a Lambo and they'll be back to a normal 9-to-5 job in 2 years when they fall off. Like, no, that's shitty.
And no one talks about that. That's a real thing.
Oh, it's 100%. Most of the people that I came up, because like,
like a class.
Influencers have like generations that they came up in. Yeah. And I would say like my TikTok generation, there's like 3 of us left that are still doing content full time, and everybody else is back to a full time job.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is a moment where you have to seize.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that it's, there's a guy, he was one of the Facebook founders. I can't remember what his name is now. It's escaping me, but he calls it very brittle celebrity.
Yep.
And if you don't understand how to like use it or harness it to put yourself in a position, it breaks and it's over. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, then you're that guy from the New Orleans parade who was dancing, he did that thing and he didn't know what he was doing. But then you see other people have turned, like the Hawk Tuah girl, for instance, has built an empire off of blowjobs. Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
That one concerns me.
It helps when you partner with Jake Paul and his production company.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Her story, I know nothing. I've never met her. I've never talked to her. But with how fast her production quality went up and the things that she's been doing, I'm concerned that people are fucking her over.
100%.
I'm
sure
positive she's getting paid 5% of the revenue that she's generating.
Right.
And she doesn't realize it, and she's just there for the party, and she's going to get hung out to dry. I hope that doesn't happen, but with how fast she came up, I feel like that might be what's happening.
I think she's working with Better. I'm pretty confident she's working with Better, which is Jake Paul's company.
Paul's thing, yeah. I mean, and that's probably that might even be like a whole business model now that people are using. They're looking for these like viral moments.
It's an umbrella, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll get them quick and be like, let's make a whole thing around you.
If anybody shows up offering you the world, tell them no. Just general rule of thumb.
That is good advice.
I mean, no.
I mean, it's crazy because it's, everyone tries to make something viral. They just don't understand what they're asking for. Is something I think I've definitely learned that it's not all it's cracked up to be. It seems great until it isn't.
Yeah.
Do you have a bad story? You got a good story? Come on.
For what?
Nah,
for
all
what
of it.
Part?
Tell me what you're gonna tell me.
What? Nothing.
Do it.
Nothing. We're good.
Come on.
Nah, we're good.
There's something. It's on the tip of your tongue, and it's not that Zenny Zen.
I love nicotine.
Who doesn't? It's a nootropic.
Only do it when I'm here, though.
When you're traveling.
When I'm performing. Yeah.
When you're performing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've performed beautifully.
Oh.
And I've enjoyed every second of it. Blas, we got any saved rounds or alibis?
No.
One last question.
Run it longer.
I kind of.
No, we can keep going.
We can keep going.
Is there a creator out there that you've kind of watched and saw from a distance,
No.
whether they're close to you or not?
No.
And you're just like,
no.
You know what? You fucking deserve that. I'm happy for you.
Oh, there's a ton of people that I'm super happy for, and I totally think deserve it. I try not to watch. I try not to watch adjacent content to mine.
Mm-hmm.
I really try not to. I'm always worried that I'm going to consume too much of somebody else's content and then I'm going to start rubbing off and coming off like them.
Comedians talk
and then
about that.
I'll like lose my own shit and then I won't be as authentic or whatever. So like I try not to consume too much other like history influencers and shit like that.
Who else is there?
That's the other thing is there's not a lot.
Bright Insight, but he has aliens.
Right. But I mean, there's not a lot of people covering history topics that like there's some other, most history channels don't put a face to it. It's just running B film with a good voice.
Yeah.
Like I have a terrible fucking voice.
Peter Coyote, the guy from Ken Burns films, has the best voice ever.
See, I don't know who that is.
Are we talking strictly TikTok or just all platforms?
Probably all. I'm talking history because I know he does all the Ken Burns docs.
Would you consider like the crash courses in that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's more like education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm kind of one of, if not the only person kind of doing what I'm doing right now. There's not a lot of people that A, put a face with history, but then B, the few other people I've seen that, and there might be an exception. I'm not talking shit. They're not coming to my brain right now, but the other history channels that do have a speaker and a face, you can tell that person's not excited about what's going on.
You're always excited.
They didn't learn. Dude, I have on my computer, I have all the research and my notes from, I don't know, 70 fucking videos that I've never made. And it's because I'm not excited about them. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to teach something I'm not excited about. So a lot of these other creators that do put a face to it, they're just reading a script and you can tell they're like, you didn't even take the time to understand how to pronounce that word. Not that I always pronounce everything right, but like I can tell you're just reading a script that somebody else wrote and you're just a good presenter versus like somebody that's learned the information themselves to the point that they can teach it to other people.
Yeah.
And I think I'm one of, if not the only person in like the history area doing that right now.
I think you're the only one.
I'm super excited about every fucking topic I tell.
Yeah.
You know, like I just dropped a video today about the USS Bory. Like it was fucking dope.
I'll watch it when I get home.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you essentially dropped a few while you've been here.
Yeah. No, I mean, you say you don't have a good voice, but I think you have the perfect voice because your voice is so distinct.
It's horrible. Distinctly horrible. I love it.
But like today we're talking like it has a certain registered tone, but like it's not easily duplicated.
Yeah, that's true.
That's part of it. And also the way you present is part of it. Like you're a big guy with tattoos and a tank top and you're talking about history. Like, you know, it doesn't match. All the things don't, if you look at like what you should be like a chalk hands teacher guy. You know what I'm saying? You should be like, you know.
It's a funny thing with the name too, because people are like, oh, you do YouTube videos? And I'm like, yeah. What's your name? Fat Electrician. Oh, you do like electrical? You teach people how to wire shit? Like, nah, I just talk about World War II.
Yeah.
Like, weird. Like, tell me about it. It is weird.
Yeah.
Started with a pun with my wife. Like, here
we are.
Here we are. I ran with it.
Break, clear the net. Attention all posts. Stand by to copy. Now that I've got your attention, I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to help us continue to grow, it's really simple. There's a few things you can do. You can like, comment, subscribe wherever you are. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, drop a rating and review. Every bit helps to make sure that we can keep doing the After Action podcast and get these stories out there. If you're looking for other ways to support the channel, go to veteranwithasign.com. We got shirts, we got merch, we got stickers, we got more. We even got a bunch of ways for you to save in the affiliate section. Check it out. Now let's get back to the episode.
So glad I picked that name, though. Could have been
What were
so
the
much
other
worse.
options?
There weren't any. So like the whole reason when I started my TikTok, dude, I tore my pec. I was at home high on Percocet, recovering from surgery. My wife was always sending me TikToks for months leading up to this. And I'd always have to like click the link, watch it on internet browser because I didn't want to download TikTok because it was for little kids to dance and do dumb shit. And I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah.
And finally, fuck it, I'll download TikTok. And I downloaded it and create a username. And I was like always joking with my wife, like, oh, I can't work out anymore. I'm going to get fat. So I just called it the Fat Electrician as a joke to my wife. And I was like, and then it blew up. And I was like, I mean, maybe not what I would have picked if I knew I was going to blow up, but it could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but it's a magical moment, right? When you hit done, like it's set on a certain timeline. And look at you now, hand tattoos and all. Wings a little
tattoos.
clipped.
That was the ultimate commitment of like, I'm never going to work for anybody else ever again. I'm getting hand tattoos.
Well, but now that's a requirement just to get hired anywhere. Like it was, you know, when I left corporate America in 2020, they hated my tattoos. They hated them. They'd be like, why do you have that? And I'd be like, I was in the military. I would just like try and get out of conversations. I was like literally sleeves down, like Handmaiden's Tale, walking around. Like it was horrible.
Bro,
Now you're fine.
That's why I picked being an electrician. Even if I go back, it's like, I mean, you look like a convict. That's true. You want the lights to come on or not?
Yeah.
Let's fucking do this.
I'm here. I'm here for a job.
I'm not here because shit's working correctly. You want me to fix it or not?
Look at the angle of that stuff. I got to fix that.
Dude.
You did 290s going a different way. Don't
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Love me some good conduit bending.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I totally know what that means. I love that band.
It's the metal pipes. It's whatever. It's fine.
It's metal pipes,
it's
yeah.
good.
No, you always know how to tell a story. You've been an incredible friend to me. You know I love you. You're the best, Nick. Thank you so much for doing this. I think we finally we've done 7, 8 of these podcasts. We learned what was it called? A product whatever?
What?
A product feature function. What is it called? You said that was what focused on your
product showcase.
Product showcase. Stupid setting. But this has been the best one yet. This has been so much fun, and I can't think of a better way to christen the new
Part
studio.
3.
This is
Coming immediately after this.
We can keep going.
I'm going. I don't care.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to let you go. We're going to do a part 3. I'm going to try and make Nick scream. I've definitely got to go to the bathroom. Thank you so much for joining us here on this very, very special edition of the After Action Podcast.